Morning, everyone. I'd like to read the IDA's mission. The Fulton County's IDA's mission is to drive economic growth and prosperity by preparing shovel-ready sites for development, including commercial enterprise, diverse housing options, workforce development, and tourism. First order of business is to approve the minutes from your April meeting. Hopefully everybody had a chance to review those minutes.
Make a motion to accept them.
Joe Semyon makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dan, second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, on to your budget report, which I think is at the end of your packet this month. Should be on the last pages, I think, we're in the end of stuff at this time. We received a few revenues. So after the first one is a reimbursement of $58,902.18. Those are the reimbursements that Niagara Water Bottling is providing to the IDA for the engineering services as part of the FAST New York grant work. Received a few investment earnings. Under your expenditures, there was the executive director salary. We had a payment for disability insurance, quarterly payroll taxes, and a final payment to the Weston Company for their audit services. We also had a payment to Betsy Emery for website maintenance, and our second payment for hosting Charles for our domain name and SSN number hosting. And under the Tryon, we had a payment to EDP. Again, that is for engineering work for the FAST New York grant, as well as the first payment to Bowler Engineering. They are doing the site soils design work for our project, also under the FAST New York grant. At the bottom of the page, you see our investments. We also have a copy of the T-bills, which we will discuss at that section of our agenda. Any questions on the budget report? There are none. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Let's
Me. Is that?
second by Joe Semyon. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carried. Okay, committee reports. Audit committee, Mr. Semyon.
Yes, all the reports were in order. Do we have a folder for him to sign? Or are they in?
They may be in with
I think I'm signing it.
Sue.
I always
Yes,
do.
you may have the audit report there too.
I do.
If not,
You want to take over? I signed the pages.
Yeah, I'll sign the rest.
if not, we will make sure that you get it before you leave today.
Okay, good job.
The finance committee did meet on April 29th, and I would like to discuss that when we discuss our T-bills later on in the agenda. We'll move to the county and CRG reports. Mr. Roll.
Good morning, everybody. Full board met yesterday, kind of quiet for economic development, and one resolution we did pass was to start the process of applying for another $300,000 micro enterprise grant. Our friends at the CRG administer that program, and it's been a fabulous program for Fulton County. We'll look for another 300 grand. And that's it.
Okay, good to you. All right, we have a CRG report from Mr. Becca.
Yeah, I won't read it verbatim from the attached report. Obviously, nothing in from the state. If you look, there's a lot of activity still in Gloversville, looking at market rate housing as well as the Kingsborough Commons property. We're still looking for the highest and best use and what we can do to get that back onto the tax payroll. Brownfield's obviously big activity. You know, we've had a big Brownfield summit, well attended. A lot of good feedback from there. I know we just set up another brownfield meeting to look at the sites that we do have within Fulton County to see what we can get back on use. There's a couple that we're looking at in Johnstown, and then working on the Johnstown Commerce Park, just getting everything in line with the grant disbursements. Otherwise, all in all, very good and good to hear on the next micro enterprise.
For sure. There are questions for Tim on the CRG report? Okay, move on to old business. Just quickly, on the website research project, last month, Sue noted that she and Seth Brown from the CRG would be coordinating the 5 groups to hold a meeting, to reassemble and hold a meeting. They were going to do that yesterday. Unfortunately, Ron and I had a conflict at the last minute. We met with executives from Niagara Water Bottling who flew in to see progress on the site. So they asked for Ron and me to attend. So we did that. So Sue, I believe you're looking at next Monday to reconvene that group. Okay, moving on, we have Decker Drive, your expansion project. We have members from the Weston Group on via Zoom. Just some new information on this. Back on April 20th, Kara notified me that she received word from Weston Group that due to cost increases, the proposed 5,000 square foot expansion that they were proposing is going to be put on hold. And at this time, they're also not looking to acquire any additional acreage in the Crossroads Park. And I guess from there, I will turn it over to whomever from the Weston Group to discuss kind of what's happened. And then they have some considerations for us to discuss. So. Can't hear you.
Rich, do you want me to give a summary?
We can hear Shannon.
I don't want to step on any toes if they're figuring out the sound.
All right.
Okay. While we're working on the sound, I can give a summary of the discussions that we had. So Scott, thank you for the summary. You're correct. The 5,000 square foot addition is going to be on hold now. Some things that I wanted to highlight for the board is the reasoning for the delay on the 5,000 square foot addition is just the cost of the project. So even if the project is modified to remove this 5,000 square foot addition for now, the actual cost of the project is only $200,000 less than what was reported in the application. So the investment by the company in this area is still relatively the same as what was indicated in the application and approved by the board. Additionally, the number of full-time equivalent employees expected to be in the facility is expected to remain the same despite the change in the project and the delay in the 5,000 square foot addition. And the only other thing I wanted to highlight, and I think we had spoken about this, but I can't recall, because of the change in the project costs, they were also looking to increase the mortgage recording tax exemption to $38,000. Rich, did you get it? I'm sorry, I just wanted to jump in.
I think I just got it. Can you guys hear me?
You can.
Great job, Shannon. I would just mention, we were going to do this additional 5,000 square foot. We applied for a grant at the state level, and that basically came in about half of what we expected and we thought we were going to get. That was a big difference. Also, the expenses, the project was delayed for the purchase of the building because the state took about 6 months longer than we expected for them to process the sale of the building because the hospital owned it. You need to get approved by the Department of Health. So that took 6 months. We were going to purchase it last August. In the meantime, all the prices went up, mainly due to the cost of what we were doing as well as with tariffs. So that hit us across the board. Ultimately, we're spending the same amount of money without the addition. It's the best way to think about it. Unfortunately, we couldn't afford the addition. So at this point, we delayed the addition. We may pursue it in the future. Additionally, the company has grown. We've added in 30% increase in number of our employees. Our revenue went up 5-fold last year. So the company is significantly growing. And at this point, we've purchased the building. We're doing renovation already.
Questions for Rich or others on his team? So they're going to eliminate the 5,000 square foot addition. They are going to continue with the remodel of the 12,000 square foot building that they own. They're requesting, I guess, consent or approval for a increase in their mortgage recording tax exemption that we provided from 31,500 to 38,000. The number of jobs will stay the same. Am I missing anything?
No.
Sarah, do you have anything to add on this? I mean, is it just, do we need to make a motion, or is it just we discussed it, it'll be reflected in the minutes?
We should, if the board is okay with removing that part of the project, we should formally agree to remove that from the project so that they're not in default when they don't do that 5,000 square foot, and we can approve the increase in the mortgage recording tax exemption. Do you know when you're gonna be closing on your construction? Is that an end loan?
At the end of the year, the
Okay.
expectation is, because our lease here ends in the building that we're on today, February 1st. So, and because we're not doing the 5,000 square foot, it's going to be less of a construction project.
Mhm.
So, my question is, if they're just buying a building and renovating it, why are we involved in it? Because they don't have a pilot.
They do have a pilot.
And as far as what?
It'll be on whatever, the pilot will be based on whatever the assessor determines the new assessed value will be based on whatever renovations that they make to the facility.
It's just the improvements.
Just the improvements
In the existing building.
in the existing building.
Sorry to interrupt. The building today was previously owned by the hospital, so only a portion of it was taxed because they had Wells Fargo renting it. So the hospital was not on the tax rolls. Now we're putting it on the tax rolls.
Yeah, so it's going back on the tax rolls to begin with, but the pilot exemption will only be on whatever so even though it was exempt, it still had an assessed value for purposes of
The rental.
Yeah, so there, I believe it was 400 and.
It was 400,000.
Okay. So that will be fully taxed, and then and then if there is any increase based on whatever the improvements are, that will be what the pilot is. And then they have a sales tax exemption for all their construction materials, whatever they're doing with the renovation, all that will be sales tax exempt, and then their loan will be mortgage recording tax exempt for the construction.
I have to abstain.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Greg will make that motion, and that's to acknowledge that the 5,000 square foot addition is going to be removed, and that is to increase the mortgage recording tax from 31,500 to 38,000.
I'll second the motion.
Dan seconds that motion. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. All right, it's passed.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. See you. Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye.
You, Jen?
What's that?
See you, Jen. Cheers.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, I heard that, Joe. Okay, another past project, our National Grid to Ingram's to Rotterdam transmission upgrade. We look on page 6 under the new information. We were notified that the Niagara Mohawk Power Corp would actually not be the entity that our previous license agreement approval included. It would actually be Quanta Infrastructure Solutions Group. Okay. QISG will be the company that utilizes the laydown yard in support of the infrastructure work on behalf of National Grid. And those entities are requesting that we amend our resolution that authorized the license agreement with Niagara Mohawk Power Corp to reflect Quanta Infrastructure Solutions Group. And this amendment would not conflict with our 90-day notice that we had circulated as of the date of our last meeting. So that is it in a nutshell. Carol, is there anything else to add to that?
No, I don't think so. Just that it's the new entity, so
Yeah.
we'll.
New entity,
Yep.
so. So you'll see the first motion that we had approved, that was for Niagara Mohawk Power Corp. And then I just changed that to reflect, the license agreement with Quanta Infrastructure Solutions Group. So that's the only change. Okay. Would somebody like?
I'll make a motion.
motion?
I'll second
Dan, second by Joe Samuel.
No,
Any further?
Gillis.
Gillis, sorry. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
it.
Okay, I'm sorry. The second action that we took last month was to authorize a short-term license agreement. Again, that was at that time with Niagara Mohawk Power Corp. And that was due to their request to access the site as of July 1. In order for them to access the site of July 1, we had to authorize this short-term license agreement. Otherwise, our 90-day notice didn't come due until the 14th, I believe. Again, they want to access the site on July 1 in order to prepare the site for the materials to arrive, etc. We have a daily rental rate established of $402.23 per day. And then the actual agreement comes in as of July 14th, correct?
Mhm.
All right, again, so it is just amending our previous resolution to include Quanta Infrastructure Solutions Group.
I'll make a motion.
And makes a motion for a second.
I'll second it again.
Joe Gillis. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, and abstains, Sue abstains. Okay, moving right along. Okay, our T-bills. We've been discussing T-bills for some time now. We knew that our T-bill number 3 and 4 were going to come due this month. Excuse me. Last month, you decided to ask the Finance Committee to convene and discuss options for those T-bills. And included in the agenda packet and our Finance Committee minutes that Mr. Rounds actually put together for us. Thank you, Dan. And if you don't mind, I would just have you
Just look that over.
since, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So, and Joe, keep me honest as we go through. So,
I don't have one.
You want there, Joe? There's in the back.
there's just a slide that.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, you gotta let me wing it.
No.
Yeah,
Also.
yeah. So Joe, keep me honest, but, you know, as we've been talking about with the T-bills coming up, is there a different way to do this? Is there a way to make sure we're maximizing the return and getting the best rate? Is there a way to functionally, you know, keep it in a way that matures at a pace that we like? So Joe was kind enough to get a representative from Citizens Securities, Mark Curley, who came in, talked with us a little bit, gave us some ideas about with treasury bills, kind of a managed approach by an organization that allows us. And what they presented at that meeting was a 24-month ladder, so that in essence, as these T-bills mature, they take the burden to make sure they're looking for the best rate for you and how to mature it in a way that both gives you access to the funds as you need it. This isn't a product that's unique to us or to our organization, and it's used for individuals as well, but it's a great alternative. And I think where we landed after that was that we want to continue to explore those types of options. That's one vehicle that we can use. There are a number of other ones like certificates of deposit. There are even what came out of the discussion is our ICS account earns us 3.5%. So as we look at the T-bill rates that we're looking at today, the rates that we're getting on that sweep account are at least competitive, if not could be greater than those rates in the short term. So this gives us some flexibility while we continue as a finance committee to do some due diligence on other options. And just the overall approach of how we use these assets. As we have assets as an organization, we want to make sure that we're maximizing those. So again, short story on this would be that we believe in the short term, the best thing to do with the funds that we have, especially with the T-bills that are coming due, would be to move those into the ICS account. It offers us competitive ability as far as pricing, but it also gives us the term that we needed and the flexibility, especially with our projects that we have going on and the money that we may need to outlay that will be reimbursed later. This is just for us in the finance committee, we believe it's the most responsible thing to do in the short term. And again, keep investigating other options so that by the time we work through the year and perhaps we get some more clarity on the way that money has to flow for these projects, we can make some other decisions about how to handle our assets to get those returns.
It's an excellent summary, Dan.
Thanks, I tried.
No.
The only thing I would add to that, I would be in favor of diversifying our portfolio to have more than just one institution. So,
Agreed.
and just a follow-up, Mark Curley from Citizens called yesterday, knew that we were going to have a meeting. He said, just please keep him up to date as to what our decision was. I said after the meeting or tomorrow I would give him a shout out. I did ask, there was a question about what the fees would be to go through their bank. He said it was a little less than half percentage, so like 0.45 or 6 or so. So that's just because I know MBT Bank was theirs 0.37, or I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit lower. But he did ask me to ask that question, and I asked him. He answered it.
Okay,
So
great. So I think from here, we will have another finance committee meeting prior to our next board meeting to continue our discussion. But that's the report.
it's good that we did have a comparison, though.
Yeah,
MBT came back with a very similar thing too.
yeah, that's correct.
Good.
Yeah, Kevin Corkery did provide us with his summary as well. So, which is after our finance committee meeting. So we haven't really discussed that as a group yet. So, all right. Under some new business, we received our proposals for mowing at the Tryon Technology Park. If you recall, we had submitted an RFP to several companies for mowing out of Tryon. We did change, if you recall, a couple of months ago, I reviewed the changes to the mowing services that were being requested. We're looking at more of a finish mowing this year, and we reduced the areas where we would be requesting mowing to occur. Again, we have Niagara coming in, and I felt as though having a finish mowing of all of our areas was more important than the 2 or 3 month brush hogging. Anyways, so we did receive 2 quotes, and these quotes were based upon 10 finish mows. Okay, and Evergreen Landscaping came at $1,580 per mowing, $15,800 total. James Esper, $845 per mowing, $8,450 for the 10 mowings. With that, Mr. Esper did provide some written comments. If you look in our previous years, Mr. Esper has been mowing at Tryon since 2022, so he's quite familiar with it. There's a couple of notes that he made. One is the several areas that we had simply brush hogged in the past have ruts in them. Obviously, these are areas that could be a little wetter. And since we only brush hog them, he obviously uses bigger equipment. So, he just wanted to note that finish mowing those areas, it may be a little bit more difficult, however, he could do it. And then, he also noted that given the contract date, the grass may be a little too long to go single finish mowing. So I said, yeah, that's probably true. I was out there yesterday. I mean, it's getting long, but, anyway, so, I did discuss, his proposal yesterday with him on the phone. And what was concluded is, that, I would request that we add one additional mowing. Because his first mowing, he may have to mow it higher and then he's gonna mow a little lower. So that would be an add, of $845. So I'm requesting and authorizing agreement with James Estuary Landscaping for mowing in 2026 at a cost not to exceed $9,295. I will note that our budget, we had $9,000 in there for mowing, so it's $250 more, pretty insignificant, really. Obviously, with the cost of fuel right now, that's the reason why you see, an increase overall from previous years. Again, this is all reimbursed through Win Stanley, so, are any questions on that?
Make motion to accept James Esther's.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Great. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Motion carried. Okay, last thing I have, for, open session is, if you recall, as we were going through the, Niagara water bottling project, Niagara, property actually extends, if you look on the screen, extends pretty much to the county right of way on County Road 117, which includes the location of our sign. Okay. When Stanley has agreed to purchase, install a new sign for Tryon Technology Park that is going to be located on the opposite side of the entranceway. Right now, this is what the sign would look like. The top is pretty much the same as what we have out there now. It's going to be a backlit sign, but then there are spaces for tenants, okay, within the park, which we don't have now. That's, and then obviously there would be some landscaping around it as we have now. So I just wanted to see what the sign would look like. Dimension wise, it's hard to see here. Each 30 inches by 96 inches would be for the tenants. Almost a 3-foot block base. Trying to find 196 inches overall, roughly. And then obviously with our Tryon Technology Park logo on it. So. All right.
Did the Niagara asphalt be moved or was it, there's no way?
We talked about just having an easement. But you know, they're going to be responsible for mowing that area because it's on their property. And the decision, I think it was just, you know, I think they would rather not have it on their property, but they would offer the easement if we wanted it. So I said, you know what, let's just clear this now. And since Win Stanley was willing to purchase the sign, and right now the estimate for that sign is around $60,000. Just so you know, that's not a inexpensive amount. Yeah.
Build it for less than that.
What's the plan for the lands that it'll sit on going forward? Like, will that be carved out and remain parkland?
That would be, you know, whoever has an interest in, that particular side of that property, we would make sure that that is carved out this time. They wanted all of the land on Niagara side. We'll just make sure it's carved. We could do that anytime now, honestly. We could just carve that out, subdivide it out right now and be done with it, which may be what we do. That's also, you know, I guess another thing to think about is as part of our power up grant that we received, we are going to have some power infrastructure somewhere along that area. So depending on where that is, and who owns that, I guess we'll have to maybe wait till that time and then figure that out. So. All right. Okay, is there anything else that you would like to discuss under open session? I do want to call for one executive session.
Quick question.
Yep.
Have you researched any other solar companies?
I have actually.
Want to bring that up now or?
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yep, I didn't put it on here, but we can definitely bring it up. I did reach out, to, Borlac Solar. Through Travis Mitchell.
Yep.
EDP, they do a lot of, site work, engineering site work for solar companies. I asked Travis who he would recommend, so he said, them. I also reached out to, I think it was Nexamp. And I've received some communication back, just give me some information. I think they're looking at, the new regulations in the town of Johnstown that they would have to go under. They did come back, each of the companies came back and said, I see they received a special use permit. Can we just, take over that permit since they abandoned the project? I said, no, unfortunately, you can't do that. You have to go through the entire process. So I think there is some interest. It would be a community solar project. I think they're more interested in how many megawatts, Nexus had, proposed, and then who, or what entities, wanted to participate in the Nexus project, which I recall, I want to say that Nexus was reaching out to the, obviously the county, to be a subscriber, and then I think of school districts, but. So, yeah, I have reached out to a few firms in there.
I just want to use that land and it's.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Got to
basically,
be the other companies, so.
yeah. So, yep, but I'll,
Thank you.
okay, we'd like to call for an executive, session for the preparation, creating or or proposed acquisition, sale and lease of real property.
Make the motion.
Dan,
A second.
Joe Samuel. Question, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Thank you. We're in executive session at 8:35. Let me stop my share here and, pause my recording. Hopefully, where's the recording? Okay, next meeting is for June 9th, 2026. So we'll make a motion to close the meeting at 9:45.
You make a motion.
Sue,
I will second that motion.
Dan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I always a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
That's good.